Hello and welcome to Get Focused with Bill Kay and Gina Fay. Hello, Gina.
Hey, Bill.
So we're going to pick up where we were kind of, discussing back and forth. Gina had asked me how the Outschooled, my new class that I'm going to be teaching, is going. And I was explaining to her that the way it's designed is I created a class with a subject and the curriculum. I can't say that word. That's a tough word. Curriculum. Is that correct?
Perfect.
All right. English major.
I
So,
thought you said you couldn't say it.
nah,
Guess you were
I,
wrong.
I had to slow down and say it.
All right. I can
So,
say it if I slow down.
correct,
All right.
which is difficult for me.
Well,
So,
okay.
So I created the class, and my initial, because I want to really be in depth with the class, was to have 3 1 hour sessions, so 1 hour each week, and charge $20 a class, so a total of $60. And what I was seeing was no real interaction yet. So, and a lot of it has to do with I'm new to the site. I don't have any reviews because I haven't given any classes or anything like that yet. So I've decided to edit that to an introduction class. So an hour long where, for $15, you get an hour long session of, what the class will be and more of, a higher level view of the class. And then if you do like it and you are interested, then there's a three session class. What do you think?
Okay. Well, I totally get your thinking on that, completely. But you're lowering the value. So basically, you're going to be paying yourself minimum wage. Okay,
Yes.
okay, 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 okay. Let me finish. Let me finish. And I know you have good reasons for it. You've been very clear about those reasons. But let me tell you a little story about when I ran a health food store and takeout kind of restaurant food service. No, it
Okay.
wasn't a restaurant. There was no sit down place. Anyway, I would always make two cakes a day for people to buy and 2 meals a day for people to choose from. And one day we used to sell a lot of stuff in bulk. So one day I decided to go off the beaten path a little bit and make like I don't know, a puree, I don't know, some sort of thing with a bunch of dried fruit. So I was going to cook it down. I was going to cool it. I was going to swirl it with whipped cream and try to sell it as a dessert, healthy
Right.
dessert. Now, dried fruit is very expensive, and this is good quality dried fruit. And nobody bought it. Nobody wanted to touch it. So the next day, I thought, all right, let me bake it into a cake. And I baked it into a cake, and the cake was delicious, I have to say. Oh, I just lost you for a moment. There we
Yeah,
are. You're
you're
back
back.
again. Okay. So the cake was good. And I really just wanted to recoup my money on it. I just didn't want to lose all the money that I'd invested. So I put it out for 50 cents a slice that day that it was fresh. Nobody bought it.
Interesting.
So the next day, this is the God's honest truth. I put it out for $2.50 a slice, and it was gone by the end of the day. There's an interesting psychology about people that they place a value based on the monetary cost of an item. So
Yes.
there's some
So
sort of connection that people make. If it costs a lot, it must be good. If it doesn't cost very much,
I
it
lost you.
must. If it doesn't cost very much, it must not be worth having. And I just wanted to offer you that. I mean, I understand that classes are different and you have to cut your teeth on, get yourself known and all that. All the same, I don't know. I like the idea of putting it out for an introductory to see what I have to, here's what I have to offer. But why, I don't know, why undersell yourself? Why pay
Well,
yourself 15 bucks an hour?
Well, all I did was I honestly just discounted it by
I
$5.
I know. But why
So,
not raise the price? Why not put it out for $25 a session?
well, because my thought process was not being able to speak today. That's my thought process.
Mercury is in retrograde.
Right. And it was more along the lines of just the suggested price point from the company
Hmm.
is like $12, honestly.
I see. Okay.
So I guess my thought process was because I agree with you. There with value, you have to charge for value. And I teach this with my
Your
my
sales.
clients every day
Sure. Yeah.
that you once you provide value, they'll pay for it. So I went back and forth with this, and in my head, when I'm selling something or I'm teaching someone how to help someone make a purchase decision, you have that meet and greet, you have that introduction, you have the ability to give someone value right off the bat. Where in this case, they're reading a
Yeah.
description of a class, and I
Yeah.
don't have the so I, I get a bunch of people signing up and how it goes. But I went with the idea of at least this is something where they can go, you know what? It's worth a shot. Let's see what it's about. That type of scenario. So we'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, then I know to go from there.
You try something different. Yeah.
Yeah, because this way I get that I can give that class and knock their socks off to the point where they'll want to pay anything to spend more time. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah. I guess I'm just making a correlation. I know what you're saying. You want to give people value,
Right.
but sometimes people place value based
All
on how much
because of
they
a
pay for
price.
the item.
Right.
You know.
No, I know. I've seen it when I was running dealerships.
Hmm.
I seen it at three different stores. We did complete, building upgrades. And statistics show that when you build the beautiful building, I mean it's millions and millions of dollars to build these buildings, that people are more open to spending more
More
money
money.
within
Hmm.
your dealership because
Hmm.
of the beautiful building.
They
Whereas,
make some association there
correct.
that they're getting more value for money based on the environment.
Well, I live, and you lived here right in the heart of Southern California, where you don't have the best quality food, but if you have that atmosphere, people pay for it, and they line up around the block for it.
Yeah, whether the food is mediocre or not.
Right. Just to be there, be seen there, and all the different things
Yeah, it's a strange.
that go the psyche
Yeah,
when
it's
it
a
comes
strange.
to us.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
strange psychological phenomena for sure. Well, anyway, really good luck with that. I hope people sign up.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I
you're
hope so as
welcome.
well.
Well, of course you do. You'd be silly not to.
So one of the things
So,
that we were talking about as far as a topic would be, I'm really curious your thoughts on censorship and social media in particular. Um, you and I grew up uh, in a time where when people said censorship, it was about writing, newspaper articles and, maybe the news
or
reporter on
movies, or
TV
movies.
or movies, what they could or could not say on television, what they could show or not
Mm-hmm.
show on television.
Mm-hmm.
But with this whole phenomenon of the social media, where do you draw the line, right? And it's a great topic that we discuss with my children and get their ideas. And I've heard a lot of different. I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast, and he's had different people on there discussing censorship and how it's really molding society in a sense, right? To the point where some people there was the woman, I can't remember her name, but she went to Twitter, the headquarters, with a weapon. Um, and there's a lot of cases where people YouTube and disgruntled, they're going to these organizations because they feel like they're being censored or not censored for different reasons. And it's difficult, right? To then you cannot pass it, right?
I missed what you said. We cut out. You said
Oh,
it's,
okay.
yeah.
So I was saying that it's difficult to really find what is the definitive line of what is right and what is wrong when it comes to
Again,
censor.
again, here we are looking for an answer,
Well, I
looking
think
for
that
black and white. And all we have really in this subject, as in many subjects, is a gazillion tons of shades of gray. There is no black or white, right or wrong.
okay, so when it comes to we have extremists, right? And now it's more and more evidence is coming out. So you have um, different terrorist organizations all over the world that are using these social media platforms to broadcast their message.
Right.
Okay, where do we draw the line of what is their message and what isn't?
And how do we know
Correct.
if it's even a terrorist organization? How do we know where this broadcast comes from?
Exactly. And it's a little bit of a scary time because of exactly what you're saying. How do we know? We cannot know. There is just like you said, there is no we're looking for an answer, but there really isn't
So
because
it's learning to live in a time of extreme uncertainty. The truth of the matter is, like, there's a meme on Facebook that I've seen repeatedly, and I kind of like it. We do try to we do try to have the illusion that we are in control of stuff, but this meme that I really like says, "Relax, nothing is under control."
right. We
Nothing
live
is under control, but I guess the truth of the matter is, I think it's just becoming more apparent that things really are not under control. The awareness is growing of that fact. And that's unsettling because there was a great period of time where we were sure we had it together and it was all under control and we knew what was going on and it was sweet. But it never was. That never was the case.
no, and you're absolutely correct. But it was really a time where we didn't have all the avenues
Oh, I
to
know.
disperse this information. And the
I know.
scary part is, no matter what it is, it could be political, it could be medical, it could be just entertainment, that within seconds, millions of people could see something
And
and
millions of
believe
people
it
will, and not only believe it, but form a very clear opinion about it
based upon
and
that.
take a very hard line without doing any independent research of their own.
That's the thing, right? So I know that
It's a manipulation. It's the
yes.
potential for manipulation is absolutely colossal.
Well, we had growing up, War of the Worlds on a radio show that caused people to actually believe it and
And
take their
jump
own
off
lives.
buildings. Yeah.
And
Yep.
now it's almost like it could happen faster and to more people. And that's the scary part about it. I mean, how do we educate ourselves, and that's the thing. So within
We don't educate ourselves. You educate you and the
right.
people around you. I educate myself, and we hope that everyone else will do the same thing, which is probably not going to happen.
No,
Realistically, it's not going to happen. People prefer to react than respond.
yeah,
They
see, we have a rule,
prefer,
let things sit for 24 hours.
well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense for many reasons. But a lot of people are, trigger happy and like to knee jerk respond and have pretty miserable lives in general. So this gives them some. I mean, why do you think the Lives of the Kardashians is such a popular TV show? Why do you think The Bachelor and The Bachelorette
I
is
know,
so
crazy, right?
popular? People don't have lives of their own, so they live vicariously through other people's lives.
And the they probably have more interesting and amazing lives, and they just don't stop and look at it, right? Because, we're talking through the computer right now, and it's amazing, but
Hmm.
we use this computer as a window to the outside world and think that, oh, the neighbor has the sofa, the neighbor, keeping up with the Joneses, but through our computer screens and our phone screens and whatnot. And, if you just turn that around and look at yourself, I believe that most people would realize they have a pretty amazing and interesting
Well, I
life
don't know.
themselves.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think part of what people are taught by the culture is to always look for something more, to be dissatisfied. We're not educated to be satisfied. We're not educated for gratitude. We're not educated to stop, to breathe, to look around ourselves, and to appreciate what we do have. We are, because it doesn't serve as much. It doesn't make it, it's not as good economically.
Yes,
Economically,
economically.
there's a big benefit in in creating need, creating want in people. And the only way you create want in people is to convince them that what they have is not enough. They have to have more. They have to bigger, better.
Wow, how true is that?
And so people end up having lives of great dissatisfaction because they can never measure up. There's always, the goalposts are always moving. The goalposts are always moving and they never can catch up. Okay, so they have a Mercedes, but now they need a Jaguar. Okay, they have this, but then now they need that. Okay, they have a 4-bedroom, 2,000 square foot house, but now they need a McMansion. And
Right.
this is two people, living in this ridiculous, like 4,000 square foot building. I mean, and then they're not happy. So then they sit and look at their media and compare themselves unfavorably because there's no education that helps us recognize how to be with ourselves and to look around at our own circumstances and be satisfied. That's a lot of people who grew up in poverty. You talk to them, you say, well, we were always happy in the 20s, in the 30s. We were always happy. We didn't have much, but we had each other
We had each other.
and we had fun. We played with sticks and we played with stones and we had, large sandwiches, during World War II, whatever, everything
Oh
was
yeah.
rationed, but we were happy. But now there's a very, very different culture that thrives on us being unhappy, no matter what it is we have.
That's so true. And it's interesting because today with one of my clients in the call center, we were talking about different places where I've lived and we've traveled to and whatnot. And um, someone brought up the fact that I'm always looking for something else
Hmm.
instead of looking. She was talking about her horoscope, and it
Hmm.
said that look more at where you're at
Hmm.
than somewhere else, right? Find
Hmm.
happiness and focus where
Or
you are.
or as Ram Dass says, be here now.
Yes, and how true
Be
is that?
here now.
And how amazing would it be if we could institute these teachings at an elementary and middle and high school level?
Well, we could, but it doesn't benefit the people,
No, I
the
know the driving
culture,
forces.
the driving forces in our culture who benefit. I mean, there are a lot of people that um, do very well, thank you very much, from this manufactured need. So it's not in their advantage to teach us, for us to teach our children to be satisfied, to recognize how little we can get by with. There's no mileage in it for the ruling classes. And I hate to bring up that phrase, but there it is. I think
No,
that
you're
there are
correct.
people, there's a group of people that benefit off the work and labor and ignorance and capacity for manipulation of a lot of people in the society.
Do you think that we've gotten to a point where people without even realizing it, right?
What do
So
you mean causing it?
so like you said, the manipulation of the idea of need,
Yeah.
of want and need. Do
Yes.
you I know at the highest levels that people do understand what they're doing, but
I don't know. I'm not convinced of that. That's a
no,
question that I mull over a lot. I know a lot of people are convinced that there is like a group of people who know exactly what they're doing. And part of me, the Rothschilds,
right.
that group of people, um, but I don't know, maybe I'm just too trusting or I don't know. I don't know to what end. I don't know that. I question it all the time. Do people really, is this deliberate or is this just a thing like a snowball that's started rolling down the hill and gotten out of control?
Well, because the reason why I bring that up is because I mean, I would say I'm guilty of being that way in a sense, right? Because part of the stuff that I work with clients and teach is how to create that emotional want and need, right?
Yeah.
To fill. So
Yeah.
in a sense, but in the same aspect, I'm also known to I've never like I don't like using the terminology of I sold you, okay? I help you make a decision, okay? Um, you sought out this organization or this product, and I am here to give you answer all your questions so you can make the best decision for
Yeah, but
your
it benefits.
situation.
Yeah, Bill, but there's an ulterior motive there, or there's an agenda there because you benefit when people buy.
Absolutely, my job is to close the deal.
Yeah.
100%.
And you
Um,
benefit financially from that.
absolutely. Yes.
And so does
But
everyone else that sells anything.
correct. And then here's the thought process behind that, right? So what if I was to say, you know what, Gina? You have a perfectly good vehicle. There is no reason for you to look to replace it at this time. It's going to run for another 2, 3 years. So, and you leave, but you go to another store and you purchase.
Or, or, or I'm grateful for your candor and your honesty, and I drive that vehicle for another 2 years, and I never forget
And
how
then you come back.
straightforward you were. And when my car does need replacing, I come back and see you. See, it could go either way.
Oh,
And
I
that's
agree.
that's a
I agree.
risk that you take. That's a risk that you take. But I think that one one road leads to a greater degree of personal integrity,
Correct.
and one road leads to self-service.
So my approach has always been a want and need interview. That's what I teach. I know that what I teach is not always followed, okay? Because it's a difficult conversation to have with a client or a customer, and a lot of people always try to choose the path of least resistance, right? Oh, you're here for the X vehicle. Oh, let's go look at them. I've always gone with the approach of after the pleasantries of meet and greets, I ask questions. So, what are you currently driving? How does it fit into your life? What are some of the reasons why you're looking to replace it? And I find out is it just a vanity type of replacement, or has the family grown and the car seats don't fit, and now I need a bigger vehicle? So
So
then that makes sense.
what do you do? Let's just say, for argument's sake, somebody says, nah, I'm just feeling kind of bad about myself and I've got some extra cash. So I want to get a big, flashy car so I feel better about myself. I don't really need it, and my family doesn't need it. And I'm not even sure why I'm getting it, but I'm hoping it'll make me feel better. In effect, I'm sure people do say stuff like that to you.
Well, I don't know if I've ever heard that exactly,
Not
but
as clear as that, of
correct.
course.
No, no. But I do know me personally, and I wanted to say it right to you, what would be really, why don't you? What's going on? It would probably end up into a different conversation and we would end up having coffee together. um, but that's who I am, right? Because I always looked at,
You're in the wrong field.
many times,
You're
you,
giving therapy away for free,
you know how many
basically.
times I've heard that. But
Well,
this is why I have people from New Jersey, Chicago, Philadelphia. They call me, and to this day, they'll call me when it's time to replace their vehicles or they want to get a new vehicle. They'll call me and ask me, and I basically help them with the process
well, because
because,
you've shown yourself to be trustworthy.
well, I never wanted to mislead anyone.
Right.
But in the same aspect, my ultimate goal too was always to earn their business. Because I've always looked at it, and this is one of the major things that I instruct to all my clients is, uh, everyone should know what you do. In the sales world, especially automotive sales, some people, because of the negative connotation about them,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
some people are hide the fact that they sell cars, right? They don't put it on their Facebook, and they don't let. I come from a different side of that notion of saying I would feel worse if a friend or family member that I know went somewhere else to purchase a vehicle and they were taken advantage of. I
So
want
you really are out to save the world, one car at a time.
if that's what it takes, yes.
Good luck.
Well, someone has to do it, right?
Absolutely. It's a dirty job, but someone has to do it.
There's a bunch of us though. I run into a lot of people that feel the same way. I mean, I still look at. I was at a Chevy dealer yesterday, and red Camaro sitting on the floor, and I know someone somewhere is stuffing $5, $10, $15 into a coffee can and saving it for their dream car. Now that dream car, that notion to get that could be based upon, like we were earlier discussing, that
Nobody needs a red
correct.
Camaro
Correct. I agree with you, right? But
except
some
somebody
people,
whose ego is a little bit fragile and wants it bolstered.
right. But also the vehicle, the sports car or non-sports car, whatever vehicle it is, it could
Yeah.
be a Prius,
Yeah.
could be the symbol of
Oh yeah.
someone reaching their goal,
Oh yeah, of
their
course.
dream.
That's a different kind of ego. That is, I am ecologically sound and I take care of the planet. When the truth of the matter is, they're not any more ecologically sound than regular cars.
I
I
know.
think that I thought you knew that, but it's an ego thing. It's where our egos get fed by what we purchase often.
Right.
It's an ego trip. And ego, there's nothing wrong with ego, but if it exists in a vacuum with no executive function, then it can get us into trouble. And it's gotten the whole world into trouble
Well,
in a
that's the whole
way.
thing.
That's the point of this discussion.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
the chase, right? That's the,
Yeah.
trying to fill that hole
The
and keep up with
pursuit
everyone around you.
or what you
Perceive.
perceive they're doing. Because what you perceive others around you are doing is almost never accurate. Almost never accurate. You evaluate it from your own perception. People look at couples and they go, "Oh my God, they're the ideal
Such a happy
couple," and
couple.
oh,
Can't we
they're
be
so
like that?
happy. Why can't we be like them? And then 4 years later, he's having an affair with 6 women, and she's trying to commit suicide. And
Right.
they're like, "Wait, what? What happened? They were the perfect couple." No, they just put on a good show. They put on a good facade. They put on a facade for themselves, and they put on a facade for everyone else.
It's amazing that you say that because everyone always says, "Well, what do you think of the Kardashians or what do you think of this person or that person?" I go, I honestly do. I've never met them. I don't know who they are. I don't know what type of person they are. From what I know of them, this, right? Um, Based on the information that we know. But to say that a person is a good person or a bad person
Oh, I
without
really
ever
love the
sitting and having a
Kardashians.
conversation,
I love watching them on television. Well, yeah, hello, that's television.
correct. And
But
not
people
just
don't
that,
get
but
that.
even, it goes way back with our, your as a kid growing up, your favorite athlete, and then you go to the ballpark and you ask for an autograph and you find out they don't even want to do that, or you find out that they shake your hand, they give you an autograph, they give you a t-shirt, and they're better than what you expected. You never know. And that's the point, right? Don't It's
You
like
never
drawing the
know. You never know, and yet you think you do.
correct.
That's the interesting, conflict there. You really think you do, and you forget that you really don't. And it's knowing that you really don't know, which is most useful, I think.
Yeah, I
An open
believe
mind.
an open mind. You
Yeah.
took the words right out of my mouth. If you
Yeah.
can keep an open mind
Yeah.
and research and educate yourself before drawing a conclusion. Just take a breath. When you hear something, take a breath. Keep an open mind and you know, look at all options before you settle on one.
And also try and bear in mind the subtle influences that you have on the decision that you're making, and talk to other people who have an opposite position from yours.
I see. I love those conversations.
And just try to understand where they're coming from without trying to change their minds.
Yes. I think that's a challenge for everyone at this point in time right now.
I told you about, I don't know if you've ever looked into this guy, but there's a guy I really like a lot who writes on, Facebook and posts a lot of stuff and has written, I think he's written two books now. His name is Timber Hawkeye.
Okay. I think I remember that
He's
name. Yes.
really, 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 really wonderful. I mean, I don't want to do him a disservice by misquoting him, but he talks about, like, for example, if you're sitting in traffic and you're cursing the traffic, it probably is a good idea to remember that you're the traffic.
Yes.
It's probably just as well to bear that in mind. It's not just all of them out there, but you're part of it. You're the traffic. But yeah, he's written a book called Buddhist Boot Camp and Faithfully Religionless.
Oh, wow.
And he's a wonderful, wonderful. I just love his approach. It's so balanced and so kind of steady and even.
Well, you're
Yeah,
absolutely correct. We allow these influences to take over sometimes, and
we give our power to those influences
yeah,
instead of
and
taking our own personal power.
just be present.
Hmm. See, power is a really interesting word. I mean, power in our culture has come to have a really negative connotation, right?
Right.
I don't want power. Oh, no, 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 no. But there's two ways of understanding power. There's the notion of having power over other people, and then there's the notion of having power with other people. And that's a whole different kind of power. Having power with people means understanding people and helping people understand themselves and giving them a fair hearing. And it's an even and more equal thing rather than a I'm more powerful than you kind of thing.
Yeah, see, I look at that in the same sense of a boss and a leader.
Hmm. Oh
To
yeah.
me,
Oh
to me,
yeah.
a leader is someone that's
Power with.
is leading from the middle of the group, right?
Yep.
Everyone
Yep.
doing,
Yep.
and a
And
boss is
it's
someone
power
standing
over.
behind and
Hmm. I totally agree. Yeah.
keep digging, keep digging.
Yeah. Cracking the whip.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, and
And the
I
leader is there working with everybody else, not
yes,
too good to do the hard work.
that is something that I stress daily with
Hmm.
managers within these organizations.
Hmm.
If you want people to make phone calls and send emails and text messages,
Do them yourself.
you do the same thing, because
Do
what's
Yeah.
going to happen? Oh wow, look, so and so is making. I better call my customers too. He's calling them. And it's just, I mean, I do the same thing at home.
Hmm.
I'm training and running
Hmm.
and my boys and my wife and we do it together. Now it's
Yep.
become a family time and a shared, that there's something
Experience.
that
Yeah.
we share
We
an
do
experience
together.
instead of paying.
Yep.
We're not going to the movies or dinner or in that whole money thing,
Yep.
and we're just enjoying our time together, like playing
That's
with sticks, right?
awesome. That's all, like playing with sticks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and it's really, like I said, it's power together.
It's
Yeah,
power
within.
with.
Yeah,
Power with.
I like that.
It's yeah.
Okay, so let's mindfulness and heartfulness.
Yeah.
We like heartfulness.
Okay.
Power within. I like that.
Or actually the way I understand it, but power within is fine, but
Power with.
I always make the distinction between power power over and power with.
Okay, power with. I like
Yeah.
that.
Power with other people or power over other people. And I think the parallel that you make between a boss and a leader is pretty accurate there.
I like that.
Yeah, good.
All right, Gina. I think we had a productive roundabout topic today.
All right. I have actually, I've been thinking, I have a really interesting quote. Did I read you the quote about people preferring to be unhappy because it's something they're used to and comfortable with?
I'm not sure.
I don't know that I did, but anyway, it's an option for next time we talk if we don't come up with anything else.
I like that topic
Yeah,
actually
it's
because
I have it on my phone and my phone is upstairs charging and I don't
okay.
want to go running upstairs to go get the quote and start a whole new conversation.
No, but I
But
definitely I think that's an outstanding topic because
it's a very interesting topic and it really it's yeah, I find it fascinating and to me it makes a lot of sense. You know, if
yes,
people have
because
grown up in a abusive environment as children, they can get actually biologically addicted to the stress hormones of adrenaline and cortisol. And so they have to create stress because a life without stress feels meaningless to them.
fascinating.
So I'll read you the quote next time if you're interested in talking
Yes, that will
about
be
that and
next week's.
we can play with that one.
I like that. That will definitely be
Okay.
next week's.
Well, all right then.
Okay. Well, you have a
All right.
wonderful week and I will
And
talk to you
you.
soon.
All right, keep on running and keep on biking and keep on
Oh,
swimming and keep on keeping on, my friend.
I am. I'm
Good,
pushing hard.
good.
All right. Good night.
Good night, Bill.